I've talked several times about the potential of a cyber attack, and there's cyber attacks launched every day in different forms and fashions and on different businesses and people. Here recently was just this massive one they're talking about with Yahoo, with some 500 million accounts, but they're saying that took place back in 2014. So they've had that information now for years, and they're just now saying something about it. But in terms of something crippling, like EMP, the whole system's going down, blackout here in this country or something like that, that's often what people would think of in terms of a cyber attack, either that or hitting the stock market and trying to take it out, something of that nature. But what happens when whoever has this control takes control of things in space? Now, it's a good point, because what they're talking about here is that if someone, a state-sponsored subject, was capable of getting control of satellites, weapons on satellites, things of that nature, that they could cause a lot of problems. And they could, because every single business on this planet has a stake with some kind of satellite with information going around this globe. All of us do. The communications right now that you're getting, everything being relayed through satellite. And when it comes to weapons, that, of course, is of the most secret stuff. Talking about weaponizing space. But it's interesting, and I want to show you guys this if you missed it. I just put out a video on Dabu77 in regards to the UN General Assembly coming up and the topics that they're going to talk about. Now, if you go over to UN.org, they have a list of PDFs here that you can open up one at a time, and there's a lot. You're going to find on this where they start talking about all types of different things, and even start talking about here a new global human order. And we've all heard their calls for a new world order, but for them to throw human in there, and then to once again down here bring up human again, but not before this. And you've all heard about this, Agenda 21, the implementation of Agenda 21, actually enforcing it, sustainable development, and actually ramming this down people's throats. And they talk about a plethora of things here. But what you can also see is that the implementation of United Nations human settlement programs. Human. Repeatedly, they use the term human as if whoever's writing this is not. And it's just the language. Oh, and I guess the main reason I came over here to point this out, and you guys are just going to have to take the time to read through this, but they point out in here that you cannot be weaponizing space or sending weapons up into space. Talk about nuclear proliferation, and then they start talking about weaponizing space in detail. So, with all the talk of weaponizing space, truly, if someone was able to hijack these satellites, throw them into disarray or anything like that, it could cause problems. But something to think about. And there's only a handful of individuals across the globe that would even have the power, the means, the know-how, and all that good stuff to pull all that off. And usually it ties back to the same old alphabet gangs and governments. And it's just a stage. That's why I say the world is a stage. But make sure to tune in this Friday. Underground World News Live. Dabu77, 8 p.m. Eastern. Going to be talking about this. Updates to Charlotte. A bunch of other stories. So make sure to tune in and join us. Much love, y'all.